great intellectual mogul to be the holder of that office. But if Raila gets that office, it is to the disadvantage of William Ruto. If Raila does not get that office, it is to the political oblivion of William Ruto again.
Okay. If not gone too far, do you think it is a threat to William Ruto once Raila Odinga will get into that AU office?
Of course.
And why is William Ruto supporting him to get the position?
You see now, William Ruto will need time. He really would need time, not really for peace so far. Really, William Ruto will need time simply for his fellows and accomplices in the government to have a holiday on a spending spree or a looting spree. I mean, that is all. But that to me is a short-term kind of a thing. William Ruto should have seen Raila as a political nemesis. You get that? So he should have just caged Raila to local politics. But that is one big mistake that William Ruto is making. Because Raila Amolo Odinga, we know him. When he gets into a house, he is like the horse, the Trojan horse. When he gets in, he will even kick you outside. So when Raila gets into African Union, he's going to get connections. Everything is about connections. We've seen connections, and that's the reason why we are even having war in Congo. Because war in Congo is sponsored. We have people, aboriginals of Sudan, aboriginals from Rwanda, and also Brazzaville, who are coming there to take their own military guys to cause instability in that country. Now, that can give you the essence of what this bloc called the African Union can hold for Raila Amolo Odinga. And that one only, the one I'm talking about, is just, so that's what Kenyans must go through first so that they can relate Raila Amolo Odinga, Baba, and William Ruto. Kenyans will have to realize the pain first before they now come back to open their mental faculties. Now realize that they lost one man called Raila Amolo Odinga.
So if I may ask you something.
Yeah.
Raila is just endorsed, not yet elected to be the AU chairman. So do you think Raila will win the election?
Well,
because for now it's just an endorsement.
Well, African Union, there's a number of parameters that we have to look into. Number one, we started from OAU, Organization of African Union.
Yes.
But now we are under African Union, AU. Since we had the AU, we've had a presidency, this chairmanship, from West Africa several times. We've had a chairperson from the wife to Zuma some other time, representing both Botswana, countries like Seychelles, and also South Africa, Zimbabwe, and Botswana, amongst other countries in the southern region of Africa. We've had the current chair, that is Faki. Faki Mohammed is coming from Central Africa.
Sure.
And now...
All right, welcome back to our YouTube channel, watu wangu. Leo tuko maeria, tuko sehemu za CBD. Tunataka tutafute kijana mmoja hapa, tupiga na story kidogo. Hello, right, once again. Welcome to our YouTube channel. This Kalwande TV. Kama hujafanya pale subscription button, tafadhali enda pale kwa hiyo kengele, finya. Kila wakati tumeweka content unapata right on time. Na bado tuko sehemu za CBD. Unaona venye Kisumu kunakaa kuzuri. Sio hapo like penye unakaa kuja tao uone places smart kama wewe. Sasa nataka nitafute kijana mmoja hapa mdiambo mjambaze kwa njia za kistory hivi, tupige na story kidogo tuone venye mambo inakuwa. So sikose kungara bado ni ile tu, bado tumengara. Unaona venye kijana bado amengara. Unaona sicheze. So sema nilete nani tupiga na story. Mimi nimekuwa nikileta wale watu ambao mimi nataka, na waleta tunapiga story. Sasa wewe comment hapo unataka nani nilete tupiga na story. Alafu kuna huyu kijana sasa na trend social media, TikTok, nini. Anaitwa Alfred Liki, sijui kama mmemcheki. Enda pale TikTok mfollow. Alafu like. Karibu tunamleta kwa show. Atuambie safari imekuaje. Lakini for now wacha niwalete huyu kijana tuone venye mambo inachemka. Kama unajua Kisumu unajua hapa ni wapi. Kama unajua Kisumu CBD unajua hapa ni wapi. Na nyuma yangu hapo unajua ni wapi. Hiyo gorofa unajua ni wapi. Na hata hapo unajua ni wapi. Na huko penye tuko unajua ni wapi. So kijana yenyewe ako hii area. Na nataka tumsurprise. Asituone tukikuja. Atushtukie tu tumefika. Na tusikia anasema nini. Okay, wacha tuvuke barabara vizuri. Kisumu ni kama Dubai. Kisumu ni kama Dubai, unaweza kutokea umegongwa na gari. Hiyo fala anasema. So, wacha tuone kitu inataka happen in the next 2 minutes. So guys, tumefika na nimemwona amesimama mahali, tunataka tumsurprise na story leo, hata sijamwambia anything. So, wacha nimsalimie. Hajui kamera iko home.
Yeah. Vipi? Poa sana.
Uko fiti?
Niko fiti sana.
Kwa siku mingi lakini.
Yeah, sana, but actually you are doing well. And of course politics is our food, but we like it. We like the current trends today.
Lakini umepotea sana. Kwanza Mhesha ameng'ara bana. Wacha hii tuone vizuri bana.
True Luos, and that's why we are in Kisumu.
So this is a true Luo.
True Luo aboriginals, eh? We are not just
kama kiatu ni leather shoe.
Yeah.
Jeans nice siwezi sema. Hii ni break rules, BR.
That's our style.
Koti naye.
Yeah. And this is Philip Pasio. Yeah.
Watch.
The watch is Philip Pasio. Yeah. It's just 36,000.
These are really low.
That is just little money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sasa mwisho umekwaje lakini?
No, I'm okay. Yeah, we just moving around, cascading around and also conversing with our people.
Shughuli ndio mingi.
Yeah, kabisa. Lazima.
Yeah. Okay, sasa mimi pia nimekutembelea kidogo. Surprisingly, leo sijakwambia hata niko area. Nimekuona tu nikasema lazima leo tupige story
kidogo. That's why we always have to engage with you. Yeah.
Okay.
Of course. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Mheshe, mimi niko na jambo moja tu ambaye situkae chini hapa. Mimi naona kaa on this side.
Okay.
Kaa on this side. Sit on this side. Watu watanicheka nasema kizungu gani eti kaa on this side. So umesema uko fit eh?
Niko fit sana.
So kuna hii trending story ya baba to move into to AU. Unaonaje hii story?
Well,
shika hivi hivyo.
Yeah, so Raila going to AU.
Yeah.
Hiyo ni a very good political strategy of Raila Odinga.
Yeah.
It is the best strategy so far. Because unajua Raila would want to go into hiding for some time.
Songa karibu director.
And again, Raila must be appreciated as a political mogul who has fought so hard for this country.
Right.
Second liberation, multi-party, devolution, new constitution, and so many other things that this guy has fought for, and the freedom of rights. Now, because of all this, Raila Odinga has been vying for the past 25 years, because it's vied 5 times. No Kenyan populace do not understand, no one is unwary of Raila's political ambitions and Raila's objectives if he saw rise to the house on the hill, and that is the State House. So now, of all these times, people decided to vote otherwise. And there is a man with a clean pair of hands who could, salvage the situation at the moment.
Kizungu kubwa.
So now, it would be a serious idiosyncrasy of us now to try and expect Raila to do any miracle as Kenyans are suffering. The situation should dilapidate to a situation where to a situation where no one would even fathom the last time they had their last meal. That is the reason Kenyans chose the KK government, the Kenya Kwanza government, and they must sleep on the bed that they did spread. That is the condition. So I really highly support Raila Amolo Odinga's move to the African Union so that it gives William Ruto time to govern this country so that Kenyans will feel it to their own extent, to their own extreme. High taxation, we are seeing a situation where is going to toll our roads. Nairobi Highway here in Kisumu and even the Kakamega Road, Thika Super Highway, all the major highways in Kenya are going to be tolled. Meaning, your vehicle will not be found in Thika Super Highway minus paying some fee. So Kenyans must know. This would be an opportunity for Kenyans to know what they have been missing and why they did toy around, to bend around, to go ahead and pick someone who is seriously ignomarious of the plight of the people. It is quite good because we know that the term of Raila Amolo Odinga, if he so becomes the chairman of the African Union, it will end in 2028. So that one is so good to us because Raila Amolo Odinga has fought terribly hard to bring this country to where it is. And now the current regime is trying to rob Kenyans of the very, very benefits that we've been enjoying all through. So sometimes you really have to lose what you have to get to know the importance of what you had.
Or what you are what you are planning to do or to have.
Yes, exactly. Now, that is the reason why we really want to give William Ruto a chance. Kenyans, you really must be able to tighten your belts right now. We don't want to see anyone on the streets. We don't want to see anyone on the streets. We want landlords everywhere to even triple the rent. We want a situation where the taxation, the KRA will be moving from one house to the other. Let Ruto do his best because Kenya selected a hustler.
So you are trying to say that if Raila will not move out of a political, we say what, opposition leader, Ruto will have not worked so well.
Yeah, of course, you know, the thing is, right now, Kenyans still do not understand the reason why Raila keeps vying. So they will understand why Raila
but you can tell us why.
Is supposed to be on the ballot only when Kenyans feel the pinch, the heat. Right now, they are not yet feeling it, and everyone is complaining right from Mount Kenya, Rift Valley, and everywhere. So now, we want a situation where every other person must get the benefit of electing Ruto as the president. A situation whereby even the housing levy today, look at the housing levy, and you get the conmanship that is going on in this country today. The conmanship that we have is, number one, the houses are being built in the county-owned lands, and the county sells this land, gives this land to the government. The government decides to give this land to a private developer, and now the government takes the money that is deducted from Kenyan salaries, the poor people's salaries, gives to the private investor to build houses in a government-owned land. And there is subsidy for consumables of such a construction, whereby a bag of cement will no longer cost them 1,000 shillings plus. They buy cement at 300 shillings. Who buys cement at 300 shillings today? Nobody. It is at a highly subsidized rate, built on a government land that is given to a private developer. And if I'm lying, you are going to see Boma Estate is now selling these houses. Some of them are foundation has not been done, but there is a big billboard. They're telling you to buy these houses. And if you check these houses, you're going to realize that these houses, they are costing higher, in fact 3 times better than, more than what the private or investors or real estate owners do charge. If someone wants to charge you a 1-bedroom house at 3 million, I mean, that is very abnormal. Yeah.
That's very abnormal. True.
So that's what Kenyans must go through first, so that they can relate Raila Amolo Odinga, Baba, and William Ruto. Kenyans will have to realize the pain first before they now come back to open their mental faculties. To now realize that they lost one man called Raila Amolo Odinga.
So if I may ask you something.
Yeah.
Raila is just endorsed, not yet elected to be the AU chairman. So do you think Raila will win the election?
Well,
Because for now it's just an endorsement.
well, African Union, there's a number of parameters that we have to look into. Number one, you know, we started from OAU, Organization of African Union.
Yes.
But now we are under African Union, AU. Since we had the AU, we've had a presidency, this chairmanship, from West Africa several times. We've had a chairperson from the wife to Zuma some other time, representing both Botswana, countries like Seychelles, and also South Africa, Zimbabwe, and Botswana, amongst other countries in the southern region of Africa. We've had the current chair, that is Faki. Faki Mohammed is coming from Central Africa.
Sure.
And none of these people is coming from East Africa. So it is high time Raila Amolo Odinga puts his right foot forward and be the first East African great intellectual mogul to be the holder of that office. But if Raila gets that office, it is to the disadvantage of William Ruto. If Raila does not get that office, it is to the political oblivion of William Ruto again.
Okay. If not gone too far, do you think it is a threat to William Ruto once Raila Odinga will get into that AU office?
Of course.
And why is William Ruto supporting him to get the position?
You see now, William Ruto would need time. He really would need time, not really for peace so far. Really, William Ruto will need time simply for his fellows and accomplices in the government to have a holiday on a spending spree or a looting spree. I mean, that is all. But that to me is a short-term kind of a thing. William Ruto should have seen Raila as a political nemesis. You get that? So he should have just caged Raila to local politics. But that is one big mistake that William Ruto is making. Because Raila Amolo Odinga, we know him. When he gets into a house, he is like the horse, the Trojan horse. When he gets in, he will even kick you outside. So when Raila gets into African Union, he's going to get connections. Everything is about connections. We've seen connections, and that's the reason why we are even having war in Congo. Because war in Congo is sponsored. We have people, aboriginals of Sudan, aboriginals from Rwanda, and also Brazzaville, who are coming there to take their own military guys to cause instability in that country. Now, that can give you the essence of what this bloc called the African Union can hold for Raila Amolo Odinga. And that one only, the one I'm talking about, is just COMESA. COMESA is the only reason why Museveni has got his own troops in the country called Congo, which is really war torn to date. So Raila Amolo Odinga, if he gets to that seat, he's going to get the necessary connections that is going to propel him even higher. He's going to be the voice of the reason, because we have seen situations in this country where Raila Amolo Odinga is rigged at the ballot.
Sure. And
African Union chairperson is the first one to hail great congratulatory messages to the president who was just won by rigging out Raila Amolo Odinga.
Sure.
So this can tell you, because this can tell Raila being the AU chairperson is like he's being the Chebukati of Africa. Raila is going to be the Chebukati of Africa. He's going to be the first person to be the conveyor belt of all electoral issues in Africa. So, well, if Raila comes out of there, I think he's going to be unstoppable in Kenya. He should not even vie in Kenya, but Kenyans should force him to vie thereafter. It is possible.
Sure.
Yeah.
Watu wangu kizungu imekuwa kubwa hata mpaka mimi sasa nimechill, yani nimetulia. Nasikia kizungu kubwa. Okay, next question. What are the benefits you think Raila will give out as the AU chairperson to Africa and more so Kenya?
Well, I think for the first time, we are getting it right. Because you see, we've had an African Union that is a puppet of Western world. We've had an African Union that is being funded by the Western world. Why do we need to have China funding African Union to a tune of over 3/4? What is their interest in African affairs that we are having? Raila Amolo Odinga, being the African Union chairperson, is coming with great goodies. We know that Africa, we've had the Union, the AU, being very much reluctant at the time when it's needed the most. We had uprisings in West Africa when West Africans were really tired of the tyrants and the dictators, like in Burkina Faso and any other place. And African Union, instead of supporting the plight of the people, they always stand on the way of the people, supporting these same people who are robbing Africans here and there. So Raila Amolo Odinga, being a strong Pan-Africanist, the type of Raila Amolo Odinga, the liberator, is the best thing that can ever happen to African Union, because it is high time we get someone who can come with 3 agendas. Like Raila Amolo Odinga said, number 1, there is a reason to bring Africa to one body politic, meaning same currency, no borders, and having one military. It can only happen under Raila Amolo Odinga, the warrior that we know, not these puppets of the white men who will always go ahead and be like the tantrums to the white men. We will not like that. Raila Amolo Odinga is going to ensure that we have an emancipation in Africa. And when you talk about emancipation in Africa, it's about opening the mental faculties of people so that people can think fresh. Innovations are in Africa. Just the other day, there is someone, a Malawian boy, a school dropout, a 16-year-old boy, who invented, power, electricity by the use of air, without any battery, without any electronic whatever. But he ensured that he brought this kind of an innovation. And Raila Amolo Odinga is going to ensure that such innovations are patented, and the young man is going to go down in history as a great inventor and is going to enjoy the benefits of his hard labor.
Nikuulize kitu.
Yeah.
Huwa naona mtu akiinvent kitu, tuseme mtu ameinvent gari na kimbia na maji, au watu wanapotenga tu hivi, sijui wanapeleka wapi, unasikia nimepewa kazi, nini naenda hivyo, and that person, such a person goes missing until asaurike kabisa. So what's happening?
Now that is where we
That's
say Africa really needs reforms. If you go to Europe has got schools for special talents. Europe has got schools for geniuses. In Europe, you'll get a kid who is in the university at the age of 12 because they are geniuses. They've been identified by their teachers during the early childhood education. But in Africa, you'll be cogged up in some kind of a scenario that you have to learn, you have to go through a retooling of a subject, whether or not it's going to affect you professionally. That is the problem we have in Africa. And that's why the guy who invented this M-Pesa kind of a thing was right here from Kisumu. But the guy's life has never changed anymore because education has been...
Are you serious that the guy who invented the M-Pesa is from Kisumu?
Yeah, from Kisumu.
Sure.
Yeah, technical student from Kisumu Polytechnic here.
Watu wa Polytechnic Kisumu, mnasikia hiyo? Ile M-Pesa unatumia saa hii imetoka hapo.
Imagine.
Sasa wewe unataka kutoka na nini?
So this is an invention that came from Kisumu. They stole the idea.
I never knew that.
There are so many M-Pesa shops. Right now, if you withdraw some M-Pesa from Safaricom, I'm telling you, I can open a company that kills Safaricom today.
Safaricom is dead.
The monopoly they just enjoy because of M-Pesa. Actually, if you remove M-Pesa from Safaricom, I can tell you Orange will beat Safaricom.
Sure.
Airtel will beat Safaricom. Any other thing that is telecommunicative in its nature will beat Safaricom.
For sure.
But the worst part of it is that a student who invented this thing from Kisumu Poly, his life has not changed. Because we don't have schools for special talents. And the government, in fact, even the Ministry of Sports and Culture, cannot even come and help this man with resources to patent that idea. Today, if you go and Google, you'll be told that this person who invented mobile money transfer is someone, a white guy. But these are things invented here in Kisumu. So it is very bad, and that's why we always wanted Raila to be the president of Kenya. But because Kenyans do not really know what they want, let Raila go to African Union, okay, and leave Kenyans with this other guy.
Let me ask you something.
Yes.
Do you think that Azimio La Umoja coalition, Moso ODM, is dead now, as Raila is now going to be the AU chairman?
Azimio cannot be dead. In fact, ODM now cannot die. ODM is immortal. ODM is a government in its own line. ODM cannot be tempted whichever way, because ODM has got a track record. It is the oldest party in Kenya immediately after the new millennium. Post-millennium parties, ODM is the greatest of all. It is the longest party post-millennium, apart from KANU, which came during the colonial period. And it is too colonial to date. That's why it is confused. But ODM is a party that has got one thing called a track record, because it has fought for things that you can see today. The word orange itself came as an emancipation that brought to us the freedom of rights, because ODM brought to us a new constitution of which the freedoms of right were embedded. It was not a copy-paste. It was Raila Amolo Odinga sitting down with intellectual modules from Kisumu, and he did that, and that is why the whole country is enjoying. ODM brought devolution. ODM in its own step brought about what is called the CDF. Come to think about it, I went to school at a time in Homa Bay when my mother and my grandmother could leave their farms to come and do some menial jobs in school, building staff rooms for the teachers, building our house, our classes in mud. But Raila Amolo Odinga insisted that no more, not again, and he embedded this into the constitution. It is there by law. Whether Ruto will like it or not, it will always be there. And that's why Raila is equally an institution, but ODM is a government. It is serikal like Gor Mahia. That is it.
Sure. Last but not least, tumeweza kusikia pale kwenye mtandao watu wakisema if so long as Raila will be elected as the AU chairperson, Martha, do you think Martha can rule, can take over?
Well,
or who do you think can take over as Raila for the time being, as he is the chairperson to AU?
You see, don't confuse ODM to Jubilee or UDA. UDA, Jubilee, these were special purpose vehicles. Jubilee came into place to take Uhuru Kenyatta to State House. UDA came to rig Raila out and take Ruto to State House. But ODM came to fight for the people, because the first achievement of ODM was to bring into force the new constitution that brought to us most of these benefits. That is what ODM brought first. What has Jubilee brought first? What did Jubilee bring first? They brought first Uhuru as the president. UDA brought first Ruto as the president. But ODM is the first party in the Republic of Kenya to bring first a product that Kenyans enjoy first before Raila Amolo Odinga. That is it. Yeah.
Watu wangu, mambo imekuwa mingi hapa na mambo imekuwa imechemka. Once again, kwa wale ambao wanakuona kwa mara ya kwanza, najua wanakujua, lakini kuna wale ambao wanakuona kwa mara ya kwanza, naweza wakumbusha jina yako tukimalizia, wajue kizungu kubwa ilikuwa inatoka wapi.
Well, I'm senior intellectual Bruce Michael Bongo in Kisumu here, and we are the reals of
Hii lazima
Senate
tuseme
here
tukis-
at the political wing here. And you can see across here, we've got a number of people who are still weighing in their options. And we are people who are also fearless, but we speak truth to power. Because nobody can tantalize or bwogo us into submission.
Nobody
we
can
cannot
bwog
be
us.
bwogoed.
We cannot be bogot.
Yeah,
Senior
we are
intellectual.
also very much fans, great fans of Gor Mahia
And
Serikal
we cannot
Kogalo.
what? We cannot ndeg.
Yeah.
If you bog us, we cannot ndeg.